Well, it's finally happened. Chris Chan has returned to the internet in full force, and I know I've made update videos on this before with Chris coming back to Twitter to like a few things, or Chris getting spotted around town with his supposed girlfriend, but this one here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real McCoy, because Chris has finally posted something to his YouTube page again, has put out a tweet about it, and it's the return of Jesus Christ Chan Sonichu, and he is just as out of it as we've ever seen him before. Chris came back, and did anyone really think his delusions would go away? Well, they didn't, and if anything, they got about 100 times worse, because what we're about to look at today is Chris Chan's version of church. Because he came back to sing a few songs and to update all of his people on what his godly process has been. And let me just tell you something right here. I'm about to show you just a few seconds of what you're in store for here, and I ask you, because we've been pondering on this for the past 2 years, what would be the first thing Chris Chan does online once he gets out of jail? And well, did you really think this would be it? Like, look at this. Holy shit, there's like 10 Chris's on screen all dancing around right now. But I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning and see how Chris Chan started his welcome back video.
Prepare for stupid, make it lucid. Prepare for stupid, make it listen.
So I know you guys are probably really pissed off that I cut off that amazing singing from Chris, but honestly, if you want to hear him say the same thing over and over for 4 minutes, I'll have it linked in the description below for you to go check it out. Chris says the words, prepare for stupid, make it lucid, over and over again, and this is how he starts his church ceremony. I think that's exactly what he's doing here, because Chris starts with a song, then goes into a sermon, and then ends with another song. He probably just went to church in his youth and thought that's the way this stuff goes, so as long as you have a catchy beat to show people and a message to give them, well, you can be a priest too. But he's not priest, he's God. He is Jesus Christ Chan Sonichu Prime, as he wrote in the title of this video. But, I mean, you can see that from looking on screen. He has the Jesus and Pals set from South Park, and honestly, I have a worry that this is what we're going to be looking at for the next few years or so, Chris holding weekly church gatherings for his own religion. But he also learned how to do something else. He learned how to edit. Because look at this. Look, we already showed it in the beginning, but Chris just has more versions of himself popping up in the video, dancing, having a good time, getting jiggy with it. But other than the dancing, the real reason he's singing this song is it's against all the toxic haters and trolls who are no longer around anymore, Chris claims. And he also is using this song as a way to throw some shots at Team Rocket, who he compares to the trolls, I guess. I have no idea. It's Chris Chan's church ceremony. If you didn't think there was going to be Sonichu and Pokemon influence in there, you obviously don't know Chris.
I mean, the thing we really sunk well below Jazz. J. Team Rocket crashing hard into the earth. We'll fight to know and widen our girth. Oh yeah! Team Rocket, stupid-y stupid, stupid-y stupid, lucid stupid, lucid stupid, big stupid is all your worth. Team Rocket, stupid-y stupid, stupid-y stupid, lucid stupid, lucid stupid, big stupid is all your worth.
Yep, it's the same old Chris Chan. Nothing's really changed other than the fact that he thinks he's God now. And I still think the reason that Chris sees himself as God is because all he had to occupy his time while in jail was a Bible. And while he was reading through that and learning about it, he obviously needed to make himself the main character, because anything he gets invested in, he turns himself into the main character. You know how much he loved Sonic, so he made Sonichu, but then he wanted an actual representation of himself. And so he made Chris Chan Sonichu, which was really just Sonic. It was just Sonic, and that was so he could be the head honcho. I mean, look at the Sonichu comic book. Chris Chan himself was the star of it. So that's what Chris is doing here. He's getting hyper fixated on a certain topic, that being religion, and because he can't handle himself being anything than the top of the food chain, that's where he's putting himself. So that's why he sees himself as Jesus. Chris has always been very self-centered, and this is just this is a prime example of that. And so Chris keeps singing his song, and as it goes on, more and more Chris Chans keep popping up on screen, and it gets so ridiculous.
We'll never get paid for it. Prepare for stupid, make it lucid. Prepare for stupid, make it lucid. Lucid stupid, lucid stupid, big stupid is all your worth. Team Rocket, stupid G stupid, stupid G stupid, lucid stupid, stupid G stupid, lucid stupid, big stupid is all your worth. Team Rocket, stupid G stupid, stupid G stupid, lucid stupid, big stupid.
This video feels like you're tripping. I mean, you can't tell me it doesn't. Like, there's so much going on here. Chris is popping up here, there, and everywhere, and I'm not going to subject you to any more of that singing until about, like, later in the video when Chris decides to sing another song. But we're also going to read the description of the video in a little bit where Chris talks about learning about editing and all that. However, after he gets done singing this song, Chris finally makes his update. He finally just talks to the camera without singing and having other Chris's dancing around on screen. So let's go ahead and listen to that, because I think that's what everybody for these past 2 years have been wondering. What's Chris gonna say once he gets out of jail? Now, I said a while back that he'll just completely ignore anything that's happened in the past with Barb and all that, and of course he doesn't bring that up, you know, spoiler alert, and I don't think he will anytime soon, because he's probably gonna just say water under the bridge, who cares about that, despite everyone actually caring about that and wondering what the fuck his thought process was behind it. But we get to hear Jesus Christ now speak his peace to all his people.
Yea and merrily to everyone. Welcome to this. That song you just heard, that was dedicated to all the lingering and lost toxic haters, fakers, and darkest sinners that came from the 1218 half of our earth that has been bugging us for the longest of time. And why are they still lingering? You're not supposed to be doing that. Come on, get out of the picture already. You're long gone. Anyway, yes. With the ultimate miracle chaos control, I ascend and make my return to the internet in all that is good and well-being. I am divine and connected to everything, and I know and not know at the same time. Between the consciousness, the subconsciousness, and the unconsciousness. I know all. I see all. I foreknow all. I've been there, done that. Everything.
Yeah, so this is basically just a Chris Chan jail letter, but spoken through Chris's mouth. He's just saying the same type of stuff he did there, talking about how he's seen and done it all, but he won't specify what he's done, you know, because he hasn't done anything, but in his own mind, he has to try to convey to the people that he has. He talks about how all the toxics and haters are gone now. I think he believes in his own mind that the dimensional merge has occurred, and I only think that's because he was so fixed on that happening once he got out of jail, and I think once he got out and realized that he wasn't like shaking hands with Homer Simpson, well, it was probably a pretty big bummer for Chris. So now he's got to try to like say that no, it has happened, and that the dimensional merge is in full effect, and all those toxic haters and trolls are gone. However, the only reason I think that Chris thinks that they're gone is because he has this video we're watching set for YouTube Kids, and comments aren't allowed. So I bet you if comments were allowed, he'd have an entirely different thought process on if the haters are gone or not. But honestly, he hasn't had to deal with any trolling or anything like that in quite a while. We don't even know if he's aware of all the pictures people have been taking of him around town and everything. I mean, we're not even still aware if he knows that other people know that he may have a girlfriend. There's a lot of questions still to be asked, and maybe some are answered in this video, but who knows, we gotta get there first, ladies and gentlemen, all in due time. But I'm telling y'all right now, it's wild. Do you guys want to know something crazy? I've made videos here for about 2 years now. I started the day Chris went into jail, and this is the first time we're ever covering like an actual Chris video, and just, doesn't that seem so weird? Like, it just doesn't add up, but here we are. Let's get back to see what Chris is talking about again, but you know the type of mumbo jumbo he's going to be spewing.
So now, with that, we're still amidst our dimension merge completion and the moment of futurast, as you shall learn shortly enough with the events that happened back in late February 2006. But for now, we are on the road.
So after basically saying that, you know, we're just on the road to getting there, this is the first step of Chris being God and the merge happening and all that, Chris goes right back to singing. And honestly, it's just as bad as the first time, but Chris will leave another message for the people at the end of the video that's a little more interesting. However, I'll show you again Chris's new hit single, a song that's going to be taking churches around the nation by storm, Road to Quickville. Now, again, I have to stress, I think this is what Chris sees as, like, his own church service. You know, you got the hymns that everyone sings, you leave your message to the people, and you sing some more hymns. The weird thing, though, is, like, this is just like imagining Jesus holding mass. Be like, oh, praise to me, look, keep faith in me, and that's what Chris is doing here. A lot of people are worrying, though, about whether he's doing this in an apartment somewhere or back at Branchland Court, because Chris posted some pictures on Twitter that we're going to look at in just a minute, and one of them is of his old bedroom. So who knows? Who knows what Chris is doing? Who knows where Chris is doing it? But I'd imagine if he's back online, we're going to find out a whole lot more about this sooner than you think.
On the road to the city of Quickville. We're on the road and getting stronger. Stronger. We left our home in Virginia. Getting strong. Well, here's the plan. We're gonna head out around the world. Time to collect and save everyone. Gotta save them all.
So he just sings more and more about wanting to save the people on the road to Quickville, says that he left Virginia and is now going around the world, so maybe we'll see Chris Chan's world tour. That would be crazy. But look what Chris writes here in the description. If you didn't think that it's just like a jail letter but spoken through Chris's own words, well, you'd be mistaken, because this reads just like one of those crazy letters he was sending in jail. Glory be to all who are light-powered, good, righteous, and neutrals with ability to be good. There is only good remaining on this earth, in this universe and timeline as we survive and continue onward in light-powered glory. The worst of toxic sinners are left behind and gone. Now we redeem the remainder of the minority who remain. All is and shall be good with the ultimate miracle and the dimension merge completion. Let your auras and chakras be aligned and healed. So Chris is like, all right, all the toxics and haters are gone now because he's not hearing about them, but there's a few left in the minority who can be cleansed and made into a good person. Now, the creepy thing here is, this is kind of how Chris described how he quote-unquote healed Barbara. You know, her and her chakras and everything. Chris did that to make her like he feel younger again and everything. And we all know what Chris did to his mom, and that's something that, again, we'll touch on in a little bit, because I think after people see a wacky video like this from Chris, it can go above their head that, oh yeah, this is still the same monster who did what he did. But it's like, look, let's read this stuff. It's all about light-powered glory, all the good in the world. Chris, what you have done and what you did to your mother is one of the worst things you can possibly do in the world, and you being the person to determine what's good and what's not is someone who should not be making that rule. But he is God at the end of the day, so I guess we just got to do whatever he says. This pair of reworded songs are appropriate with the fall of the toxic ones and the rise of the light-powered and good. So basically these songs he's singing about being on the road to the city of Quickville and the stupid Team Rocket, that's just kind of an own to all the trolls and everyone who's not down with Chris's religion. But here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I have been taught how to use advanced programs for video editing and much more. Who taught him how to edit and everything? Obviously, we've all been talking about the girl that Chris has been seen around town with, the one who all of y'all are calling a Cabbage Patch Kid, and honestly, is it that person? Maybe. Is it the Praetor? Probably. But Chris is obviously being coached to do a lot of this stuff. The editing, I think even the stuff he's reading, he just can't take his eyes off the screen, so maybe he wrote those songs himself, and if you know Chris Chan, you probably did. That sounds like a Chris Chan song, but a lot of this is really seeming like it's being influenced by outside forces, and I don't know who exactly that is, but I assume we'll find out sooner rather than later, because Chris can never keep his mouth closed with this type of stuff. I'll show you a little bit more of Chris's new song on the road to the city of Quickville in the background. Obviously, I'm not going to again subject you guys to hearing Chris's singing. I know it's not something that a person wants to deal with on especially a weekly occasion at Chris's church. That must be terrible for anyone who attends. And after Chris finishes his road to the city of Quickville, Quickville song, he then gives one more address to people before he goes, and he sounds really proud of himself for singing this song. Like, I think he thinks in his mind he knocked it out of the park. I believe anyone listening to it will probably think otherwise, but let's listen to how Chris signs off on this video.
So yeah, I'm back. I'm proud. I'm more mother. I got the boundaries set. So later, haters, fakers, y'all gone. We're sticking with good positivity, light power, and righteousness. Keep on zapping it up. All the good ones, the good light power and righteousness. You all continue to do excellent and very well. I know so, because I've got all these crosses on the palms of my hands, and the images and the etchings of where I have been hung on that cross back in Nazareth many a millennia ago. See y'all later.
Jesus Christ, or I'm sorry, Jesus Christ Chan Sonichu Prime, I meant to say, but I mean, the talk about him being hung on the cross and everything, like, he is really taking this to the utmost degree of just craziness. He, in his mind, definitely thinks he's Jesus. I know he's trying to, like, I know there's a part of him in there that knows he's not, but he's really trying to convince himself and all the people listening that he is, and it's Chris. It's not gonna work. Everyone knows he's just crazy, but he's gonna try and try and try. But you heard it from the horse's mouth himself. This is Chris's return. And what are we in store for? Well, if you're asking me, probably a bunch more of this religious jargon that he's trying to peddle, and it's gonna be a really annoying ride. I guarantee y'all that. The culmination of everything we've kind of like made videos on this channel is right here, right now. We've covered it. I already brought it up since Chris went into jail, and now he's out making videos, and it's weird. It's weird. I've never covered an actual Chris Chan video, and we'll have to see what he puts out next, because this one was just all over the place. However, it wasn't just the video that Chris put out, because as I already mentioned, he put out a tweet too, and the tweet was accompanied with a few pictures, one of which being this horribly decrepit Sonichu medallion that Chris is still wearing in the videos y'all saw on screen. Like, look at this thing. Like, this is rancid. Why would you even want to touch this thing anymore? But it's Chris, you know, he wanted to put back together the Sonichu medallion that Blue Spike made him put in his ass. So, like, he doesn't matter. All that matters is the meaning behind the medallion, not how clean it is or how sanitary it looks. As long as it has all the memories of Chris's previous, like, you know, gallivanting throughout life and whatnot, well, that's the one he's gonna wear. But you should really consider getting a new one, Chris. That looks terrible. So the next picture on screen is of two, like, amiibos that Chris created. One of Chris Chan Sonichu, one of just regular Chris Chan, I guess, because that little blue-haired one is what Chris thinks of himself as. And the first thing I thought when I saw these was, are these new, or did he go back to Branchland to find them? And, well, in the next picture, I think I answered my own question, because here's a picture of his bedroom at Branchland. Now, we had known a few weeks back that Chris was visiting there, as his car was seen in the driveway of Branchland. And the thing is, it's a really scary thought, because how often is he going back there, and what the hell is he doing there? We all know what he did there in the past and what he did to his mother, and if Barb's still living there and Chris is just frequenting that house pretty often, I'm sorry, but you gotta make sure nothing sinister is going on. Chris brought up a few times in the jail letters that he saw nothing wrong with what he did to Barb, and the fact that they drop the charges and say that Chris is innocent, honestly, it's a really worrying thing, because somewhere in Chris's mind he might think, oh, well then I'm cool to just go back and do what I was doing then. And that's what's dangerous about Chris in any situation. He can't control himself when he sees someone vulnerable, and I'll stand by that. He wouldn't do what he did to Barb if he wasn't a person like that. It was his own mother, and he still did it to her. Don't sit here and try to tell me that Chris is just a misunderstood person. He is someone who knew what he did, but doesn't want to take accountability for it and thinks it's no big deal. And that's the scariest thing out of everything. So while Chris is back trying to smile and wanting to talk to the good and all the good and the not toxic people, well, just remember, all the haters and toxics are just people questioning you for the horrible things you've done. So we'll have to talk more about this if Chris is back at the house. I think we can all pray that he's not, but we'll have to see what happens. It's all still up in the air, and this is all we got now on Chris, but as I said, the fact that he's made his quote-unquote return and he's said it's official, well, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of Chris a lot sooner than you think. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is really all we got right now. We know Chris is out. Well, we've known that for months, but we know that he's looking to make his return full-time to the internet, and he's doing it in a really strange way. But then again, it's Chris Chan. I don't think anyone expected him to ever come back in any normal way. But as any more of this comes out and anything more happens, I'll be sure to update y'all here on the channel. And I just gotta say thank you guys for being here for the whole ride. And I can't believe today was the day that Chris Chan came back online fully. But here we are. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and maybe we'll talk about this more if anything more comes out on Wednesday on myself and Kiwi Tapes' show Too High for Stupid. We do it every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and if you guys liked videos like this and you want to hear more about these situations, then come on over. There's still a lot more we could talk about with Chris, how like the girlfriend thing, I think the girlfriend thing is still the most pressing issue even though he's back now, but I imagine we'll find out more about that, when Chris slips up, because he will, you bet your ass he will. Another thing I think I've already brought up is that Chris is making his videos on YouTube Kids. He's saying that yes, these videos are made for children. I don't know why that is, that video. I mean, Chris has always wanted to do like family-friendly stuff with Sonichu, despite putting in some really NSFW material, but nobody's ever going to be able to comment on Chris's stuff because he's labeling everything as for kids. I don't know why he's doing that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here, and it's just gonna be so weird with Chris back. So my friends, again, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one. Until the next one, take care and be safe.